I bust through and bust moves. Stay true, the killer to stay smooth. Handsome brothers stay set in the mood, but they wanted funky rhymes from the brother so cool. Trying to check the vibes and set the conversation. The keenest minds to find this observation. I'm on 10 podcast, so don't not face it. We'll be the first to declare our greatness. Checking out, check out, I'm checking it twice on the weekly. I'm busting, cause busting is life. If you don't know, now you do though. You should peep game, that'd be cool though. Cause your part is crucial, so get on the movement. If you ain't busting, don't know what you doing. Wasting your time and ignoring the truest. Some of the realest, they greatly influence. Kings in Montana creating a movement. Scrapping or rapping or laughing or acting. It really don't matter, cause this is our passion. We busting and trusting. It really is something. When it comes to our family, you know that we love them. That's how we roll. Montana in the house and we taking control. Podcast kings in the place to be. We taking over, just wait and see. Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz, but we on tonight. No boasting, true and tried. It's Buzzwood, it's ride or die. Slow down and catch the vibe. Weekly buzz, but we on tonight. No boasting, true and tried. It's Buzzwood, it's ride or die.
Had like 5,000 before. Welcome to the show, everybody. Levi here. I'm here with Grady, the legend, Bennett. If you don't know, Glacier High School football coach. Let's go. How you doing, my man?
Good, Levi. Great to be here, man. Thanks for asking me on.
Yes, sir. Hey, I seen you were in town for looked like an award ceremony, and I figured, I was like, I got to shoot the shot, right? It's like Thursday night, so we'll see what he's got going on, because I didn't know how long you were going to be in town, you know. So I was like, if that's one shot, you got to shoot for it.
Yeah, when I saw your name pop up on my phone, I was like, wow, Levi, man. Levi's calling me. How cool. It's great to – it's been 11 years, right?
Yeah, 11 years. Yes, sir. Indeed.
Yeah, awesome.
Anybody that's watching, can you guys give us a sound check out there? Or I guess I probably just my phone up, but either way. If you don't know, Glacier High School. Oh, I said students. Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. I don't know if we're talking in that. So we have a tradition here. Tell us who you are, like where you were born, and how you got to where you're at now.
So do I need to speak into that as well?
You know, I think I just get used to it, but I think we're running off of that. Okay. So.
Yeah, my name's Grady Bennett. I am a teacher and coach, and actually this will be my 34th year. I'm going to start here in a couple weeks of teaching and coaching. So I teach business at Glacier High School, and I'm the head football coach, and I coach track as well. So
coach track as well. That's right, dude.
Yeah, I was a basketball coach. I did football and basketball back to back for like 25 years, and then I retired from basketball. I officiate now basketball in the winter. And then I started coaching track 2 years ago. So,
there you go.
Just love it, man. I love coaching, love teaching. It's awesome.
See, and I met you, you must have already been, like 10 years deep, because I met you 21 years ago now in 2003 when I moved to Kalispell.
Yeah.
Yep. And me and Ty went to your one of your off-season football camps, and we're like, dude, that dude's the man. Just from that interaction, I always wanted to go back, but we were always, you know, every summer we always just had something going on. So it would be huckleberry picking when that was going on, or, you know, whatever was going on. And I didn't know you coached basketball, actually.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember because it was Harkins when I was there. Well, were you still doing it then?
Well, I wasn't the head coach, but I coached boys for like 16 years, and then I switched. When I went to Glacier, I coached girls.
Okay.
And I was usually the JV coach. I was usually the assistant.
There you go.
For all those years. So for both boys and girls, yeah.
See, and I just always went to open runs and like after school or whatever.
Yeah, I remember you played little hoops too, yeah?
Played little hoops, yep. And then Mike recruited me junior year to go wrestle. So
there you go.
I did that for the last 2 seasons.
Awesome.
Graduated early, senior year, so I didn't even do wrestle offs because I knew I was like, I'm not even going to be here for, state or whatever. So even if I did got the varsity spot, I wasn't going to be there. Because I didn't know. School wasn't my thing. I just wanted to leave. You know, they're like, as soon as they told me, Levi, you're graduating early, I was like, all right, man, cool. I was like, I didn't think I'd ever even make it, so that's cool. And now you've been at Glacier for what, 17? This will be 18th season?
Yeah, this will be the 18th year. So ever since it opened up.
Yep. That's so crazy, dude. This thing, like, because I've been out, like, you know what I mean? I've been there, haven't been there since 2013.
Right.
You know, I shot back by like 2015 or whatever, but it's just wild to think that that school's already been there that long.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't know, the important part is that I'd coached at Flathead and I just gotten the head job. So I was an assistant for 13 years and then I got the head job. So I was the head coach at Flathead, my alma mater, for 3. And those years 2 and 3, Brock Osweiler was our quarterback. And I'd worked with Brock since he was like in 6th grade and helped develop him. And when he was a freshman, he played a lot, didn't start him, but then as a sophomore, he was our starting quarterback, led us to the semifinals. And so, man, we're going to roll, right? We've got a dynasty here with Brock coming junior, senior year. But that's when Glacier opened.
Yeah.
And, man, I didn't even think about it. Like, there's no way I'm leaving Flathead, right? I'm a Flathead guy.
Right. I'm now the head coach. Like, I'm not going to go.
Born and raised and played there, and now I'm coaching there. And so I didn't really even think about it. But it was almost the last weekend. Some other things happened, but I just thought, man, what an opportunity. How many people get a chance to go to a brand new school and build a brand new program from scratch? I mean, that's pretty rare.
I was going to say, it was not too many.
And so it was like, 24th hour, I just kind of switched and said, you know what, I'm going to take this. And the first person I called really was Brock. I'm like, dude, come with me. Because he actually lived there. He should have gone to Glacier. But he just said, Coach, man, I'm a Brave. I've played here for 2 years. I can't leave. And I understood. So it was a huge risk to go to Glacier. I mean, we go 0-10 our first year and just got crushed every game. And then the second year we were 2-8. So, man, that was a risk because I maybe would have never made it out.
Right.
But thanks to that first group of guys like Shea Smith-Woodcan, Wiley Facero, Connor Fuller, I mean, there's a lot of guys that suffered through building something painful, right? I mean, but by the time they were seniors, they went 9-3, made the playoffs, and we never looked back.
There we go, right?
So yeah, it's been a cool journey, cool story.
Oh, my mom's in here.
Hey, all right.
Hey, Mommy said hello. Anyways, that's good. He said he was hoping you were in town. He'd like to see you.
Yeah, it'd be great to see you.
Yeah, so I actually went to Brock's last game at Flathead, but I think were they going to the playoffs maybe? I just remember it was his last home game, and my big brother David from Big Brother Big Sisters actually was like, he's like, hey, I heard this guy's pretty good. You guys want to go watch him? I was like, yeah. He's like 6'7". So I get out there, I was like, holy shit, he is like 6'7", you know? I was like, holy crap. Like, as a kid, that was like mind-blowing to me. I don't know.
Well, then how cool was it when he played for the Broncos, right? As Bronco fans?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was sweet.
That was fucking awesome. I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, I watched that guy play. You know, I'm not much of a college watcher, you know, and that's, you know, a lot of people say that's a problem, but I'm playing college football on the Xbox now that it's back after 10 years, thank God. But yeah, no, I don't watch it. So I just, once he went to the Broncos, I was like, holy shit, that's cool. You know, somebody that's from where we're from, you know?
Yeah.
Like, not very many people make it like that.
No, and he was just elected into the Montana Football Hall of Fame this summer.
Oh.
So, yeah, they had a big ceremony with the Montana Football Hall of Fame and elected Brock. It was a really good class. One of my teammates, one of my receivers, Matt Clark, who went to Hellgate, and then, you know, obviously teammates, University of Montana, had a great career in the CFL. He was inducted. Chase Reynolds, Mark Mariani, 2 legendary Grizzly guys were inducted, and then Brock inducted. So it was a really special class, I think, and I got to go down and share with those guys and see them all again. So it was cool.
Yeah, Mark used to tear up the Highline.
Man.
And, Rigoberto, my best friend, that he delivers beverages, and you get to tell his stories when he's up there.
Yeah.
When they're up there just talking about football and stuff, you know.
Yeah, one of the greatest, man.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, I remember watching him play back in the day, you know. Just tore him up. So what inspired you to become a football coach? Was it just like a passion inside you, or?
Yeah, and it's a great question. So I went to college. I loved business classes when I was in high school. And Dan Hodge was my track coach, and he was a business teacher. Bill Epperly was my basketball coach, and he was a business teacher. And I just loved those guys as coaches, and I loved them as teachers. So I went to college to be an accountant because I took their classes, right? So I'm 3 years going to be a CPA, and I enjoyed it. I could have done it. I still teach it. I love teaching accounting. But after 3 years, they started asking me to come back and coach summer camps. And man, coaching summer camps, I just had a passion for it. started to really fall in love with kids and thinking about motivating and inspiring kids and changing lives. And so I just said, man, I got to do this. So I switched from accounting to education, and I already had 3 years of business. So I just stayed with my business education. And so, yeah, I've taught business ever since. Sometimes I wonder, man, should I be teaching a solid subject, like not an elective, but like math or science or English? But it's worked out. I've loved it all these years teaching business. And then, man, I love coaching. This is my 34th year. And honestly, I think I have more passion even now than I did 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago.
So you still feel the fire burning?
Oh, man, absolutely. And I think it's just because, like when you and Kai first called me on Thursday night, it's because my passion is helping young boys.
Can you control the comments, brother? Sorry, go on.
That's all right, man. My passion is helping young boys become good men.
Yeah.
Our world's a mess, as you know. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of lost young people. And so I get a chance to enter their lives and just help them, man. Help them, guide them, help be a part of their journey, and just guide them to a better place. And so, like when you and Kai called me on Thursday night, it was like, that's what it's all about, right?
Right, dude.
Because making your way. And,
we obviously had our stepdad, rest in peace, in our house, but outside of that, like every other male figure around us wasn't the greatest. So like when we met you, we just like had that respect for you.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Oh yeah. So and because of that, like your business class, I did take it, I think sophomore year or second half of freshman year, early high school. Anyways, I took it, and it would I feel like it was one of the only classes I didn't fuck around in. You know what I mean? And it had to have been freshman year because I was, still playing that freshman season of football or just got over either way. But yeah, you're like, what it takes to be a good athlete is also to be a good student,
Yeah.
And that actually resonated with me, probably only for like a month or so, but obviously still now, because it was like part of your speech just coming in at the end of freshman camp.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's really
well,
cool.
I think like what's so cool is the things that like Kai said the other night. Sometimes you'd wonder, like, am I really affecting lives? Are they hearing anything? Is it sinking in? Are they getting any of this stuff? But man, then 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, guys like you will come back and say, hey, coach, man, you made a difference. And it's
absolutely.
And that's why you do it, right? It's awesome to get those phone calls or those letters or
calls. Because Ty was a little bit more asshole than I was, for sure.
He was a little crazy, for sure.
Right? I was like, and just like as he just told you, like, he told you he must have had like an anxiety about, being like the focus of, the Legend Stadium. It's not a small high school stadium at all. You know what I mean? So with that, you're like, well, what would help you? And you ended up buying him a visor, which is, which is sick. I think it was like, it couldn't be dark black, but I think it was like smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but that's cool, man. That's
awesome. And I don't know how that all transpired or how that was going, but I just know that since then, or the whole time, Ty's always had that respect for you as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so indeed you do. Even if you think they're not listening, obviously how teenagers are. They're just too cool to be receptive of information coming towards them. And all right, so you were talking about the development of, say, Brock Osweiler and getting him and helping him get to the league eventually. How do you balance the development of individual players with team success?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, commitment's a huge part, right, of athletics, and you have to ask for a certain level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one is the commitment to the team. Kids have to be, one of our pillars of our program is team comes first, understanding that it's not about entering into that decision to be a selfless teammate, put the team first, all that stuff. So the kids have to commit to that concept, and that's hard, especially in our current culture, because, man, it is just all me. So I think learning those lessons of team commitment and selflessness is huge. But then there's the individual commitment to become the very best that they can be. And so, right, some kids are really great about committing to the team, but they don't really commit to making themselves the best they can be. They don't work very hard, or they miss a lot of workouts, and they really shortchange their ability to maximize their talent, right? And so getting kids to commit to team and then to the individual development, I mean, there's two phases there. And obviously the kids who are very successful both commit to the team selflessly, 100%, but then also do everything plus to make themselves the very, very best that they can be.
How long does it take you when you meet a new student to tell that they have that drive to be better, just not only for the team, but for themselves?
Yeah. That's a developing thing, and there's so many great stories, because football takes a little bit. It's a hard sport, right? I mean, football is hard. I mean, it teaches so many lessons. I mean, you get knocked down, you get the snot knocked out of you. I mean, it's wow. And so a lot of kids, when they first start playing football, I mean, you might relate to this, freshman, sophomore year, football is like their fourth favorite, maybe third favorite. I mean, and I get that as a coach. I don't ever try to force the issue. They come and they want to be basketball players or soccer or lacrosse or whatever. And football's way down on the list.
Or wrestling, right?
Whatever it is. And I don't ever rush it or push it, because I want to have a program that ultimately they'll fall in love with it. And that's what happens. And the best example just recently is Patrick O'Connell, who's now on the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, he's in year 2. He's trying to make the squad again. But he's our first professional from Glacier Wolfpack, right, that's playing in the pros. What a great story. But
there we go.
Man, I had to beg Patrick. Football was, I don't know, 3rd or 4th on his list when he first came. And every year I had to beg him to stay out, man. Don't quit. Stay with football. Stay with football. You're so good. He was a really good baseball player, and that was his main focus. And then he liked basketball and that. But he stayed around, and at the end of his junior year, he fell in love with it. It clicked. And so, man, the rest is history, right? He goes on to be an All-American at Montana and a Buck Buchanan Award finalist, and now he's in the pros. And so,
there we go.
I mean, to answer your question, I don't ever really know, because sometimes that switch will flip somewhere in there. So I just keep doing what I'm doing and hoping that at some point they fall in love with, because of our program and what we're doing.
So you just tell them to keep believing in the team, and if the spark's there, it'll.
Yeah. Well, and mainly, I think young people, they just need to know that someone believes in them.
Right.
And so, man, if they have somebody just saying, man, I believe in you. I see the potential. You can be so good. And if you just keep building them up and encouraging them and telling them that you see the potential and you want to help them get there, at some point, maybe it clicks and they're like, you know what, I love that football program. I want to play for that coach, those coaches. And yeah, it's awesome. I love it when it happens, man.
Yeah, see, and I kind of, I do love how I was in rural schools. So it was always just, small groups. Well, then I think about, like, dude, if I played Pee Wee football and I understood what the hell a lineman was, I didn't know what the hell that was. When me and my brother would play, I'd be training for running back, wide receiver, or linebacker, of course, right? Because Ty was always a quarterback because he played for you, right? Like, or, you know what I mean? So I was never training or even knew how important the line was. When you guys were like, I'm going to put you in left pull guard, I was like, oh, what the fuck that means? They're like,
where it's at.
Just run around and hit that dude. I was like, all right, cool. That's what I'm going to do, I guess. But like, I didn't understand it, so I gave up. And that's, that's on me. It's whatever. But, it's like, when they figure it out, they figure it out. But when you don't, I don't know, when you don't commit, you always have that issue going on. What's this guy good? Why didn't you just join the stream? Hey, why didn't you just?
I'm jumping in the link right now, you guys.
Okay, then just join the link, bro.
Okay, sounds good. Love you.
Love everybody. The guy's a goofball. I just sent it to him. Anyways, what else do I got? Oh, so what is your philosophy on team building culture?
Yeah, so actually we came over. My wife's a photographer, and so she's doing photo shoots here in Great Falls. She always has a lot of Great Falls clients from the days when she lived here, and they keep coming back, so that's awesome. But I came over to speak at the Montana Coaching Association clinic. We have a clinic every year for our coaches in Montana, and so I came over to speak on 2 different topics, and that was actually one of them is just building culture. And so I think the culture that you build is so important, right? I want to build a culture that kids need and that they want to be a part of, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many options these days. I think, like back when I was in high school, we had so many kids on our football team because it was like, that's what you do. Like if you were a 4th string or 5th string, whatever, like it didn't matter. That's what kids wanted, just to be a part.
Yeah.
But now there's so many options. And so if we don't provide a program that gives them something they want to belong to, that has a special culture that's fun and allows them to achieve goals and stuff, why would they do it? Right? They can go sit and play video games, or, I mean, there's 100 other options. And so I think the culture you build, we're really intentional about it. We try to build a culture that, again, boys want to be a part of.
Yes, absolutely. I respect that answer. I'm going to bring Ty in. All right.
Hey, everybody. Grady Bennett is the best coach in Montana history for football. Let's go.
Stand right.
The Weekly Bus live from Sturgis.
Tylen is in South Dakota. Look at all
Hey,
this.
Grady, I have a few questions for you before I jump off here.
Okay.
Question number 1. What was it like to be around Brock Osweiler during his rise and being able to be to coach him during the time of him being prospected as a Montana high school athlete?
Yeah, I just kind of told that story, how I had to leave him. I mean, it was a big risk for me personally, but it was also really sad that I had to leave Brock before his junior year and senior year because, I mean, I knew that not only he was going to be an NFL prospect, but also, man, I felt like we could maybe roll off a couple state championships, So it was a hard thing to leave him, but really proud of what he went on to accomplish, and just got elected to Montana Hall of Fame. So great stuff.
Did you stay in heavy contact with him when he went to Arizona State?
A little bit. How life goes. Like as you move on in years, you kind of lose that contact as much. You start staying in touch, and then it kind of fades as it goes. And I think the fact that I left too when he was here, I think that was upsetting a little bit.
Do you remember anything specifically as far as you've won state championships over and over, but do you have a specific memory as far as like your favorite memory when it comes to winning any specific chip?
I think our 2014 state championship at Glacier was really special just because that group. They had a famous state, but as
shout out to Glacier High School, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. But they had, long story short, they had an incident, a bus incident, became very famous as freshmen. And man, a lot of kids got kicked off the team. A lot of kids got kicked off the team. Bad deal. That class, I didn't know what would happen. I could have been disastrous. Those kids started.
Is that the year you guys went undefeated? I'm sorry if I didn't hear you say that.
No, yeah, that's the year we went undefeated. And, I know a lot of people still maybe struggle with some of that stuff, but education is about, like you guys know, man, kids make mistakes, right? I mean, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. We all do. And that's what education is about. Is you hope you learn from it, but then you're more.
So not only are you an incredible coach, but you're also very intelligent when it comes to IT. You were my IT essentials teacher in Flathead, and I still remember everything you taught me from that class because I ended up making a pamphlet. One of the assignments was to make a pamphlet to what you wanted to be in your life 5 years from now or something.
Yeah.
And I grew a beard on. I drew a beard on me because I had this vision that I wanted a beard later in my life. And you actually said that was one of the best pamphlets of the year, and it was for being a rap producer. Do you recall that at all?
I think I do, man. That's awesome.
Grady, you are the man as far as coaching in Glacier because you've done it. When you took Glacier over, Glacier became a dominant school right off the bat. But what was it like leaving Flathead and going to the rival school to Glacier?
It was hard, man. I mean, it was hard. There was a lot of people that were, looked at me as a trainer, and there was people that didn't even talk to me. And, I bet it probably took a decade, I think,
Did you get any backlash from anybody?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Yeah, for sure.
I like seeing you in green and blue more than I like seeing you in orange and black. I hate to say it because I'm a flathead kid, but you look incredible in Glacier. The accomplishments that you have done are to be spoken for themselves. And I just want to say I respect you so much, Coach Grady.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm having a really tough time hearing everything, and I just want to let you guys have your dope episode. Levi, you're the fucking man, dude.
Love you,
Grady
brother.
Bennett, you've been the man since I was a child, dude. I love you, bro. Let's go, Flathead. Let's go, Glacier. Let's go, Montana. Grady Bennett, I can't wait to see you win your next state champ.
Thanks, man. Hope it's this year,
Let's
man.
go. Thank you guys for having me on during this moment. I just really wanted my time with you, and I can't wait to see what you do this upcoming season.
Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir. Have a good day, you guys.
Peace. All right.
Awesome, man.
Hell yeah. See? Apparently we were both in this business class. I didn't know that. All right. I'm going to get back into this one. So how do you handle the pressure and expectations of maintaining a championship caliber program? Especially, with it's like basically now like a red carpet that you've set the last 17 going into your 18th season.
Yeah, that's honestly what my presentation was about when I was talking to young coaches, that, how do you build a program that's just consistent, a program that's good for kids, a program that is going to be competitive every single year. And I mean, there's a lot of keys. There's a lot of it goes into the recipe to make that happen. But I think it's just having high standards and expectations. And again, giving something that kids want to be a part of, something that helps them in life. I think if they know that you're invested in them, and really, if you have the goal to help them become the best version of themselves, that's what I tell kids all the time is, man, my passion is I get to meet you guys when you're, wherever you're at. And I know and I believe that you have that much potential, whatever it is, right? And then I get to help you on the journey to get there, to reach it. That's awesome. So again, if kids know you believe in them and they know you want to help them get to where they can be, I mean, wow, that's kind of the recipe. So, that's what we try to do, is just have a program that provides that. And then, I feel like, guys want to be a part of it. So.
Yep. And it's on you just to keep doing what you do year after year, right?
Exactly, right. And I never rest on my laurels. I mean, we're always evaluating, right? I think as an individual, as a person, you always just have to look at yourself. How can I get better? What can I learn? I think you're in trouble when you just kind of say, oh, let's figure it out. So I think people would be surprised, because we've had such consistent success every year, right? Man, they might think, well, we just kind of, okay, we got it now. No, man, we are always looking for how can we get better? How can we change? How can we improve? And it's really amazing how many things we tweak each year, take out, add in. Like, really, I mean, it's a process but I love that part of it. I love analyzing everything, evaluating everything, and just seeing how can we get better. I think that's important for us as humans, as individuals, and then like whatever we're doing. I just constantly evaluate, be hungry to learn, be hungry to grow. We should never stop trying to get better and become the best version of ourselves until we die. Even if we're going to live 100 years, we should still be striving to try to get better. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. Are you still in the same classroom at Glacier?
Yeah, I've been up in A214, up in that corner, that computer lab ever since.
As I was saying, because you can look out your window and just be like, yep, we're going to go practice soon.
It's beautiful.
It's almost time, right?
Beautiful.
So what are some of the most important qualities you look for in an athlete, like in your athletes?
Yeah, there's a great saying, obviously, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So, I mean, you still have to have some ability, right? But talent is so overrated. I mean, I'll take a kid that is going to work hard and commit those commitments we already talked about. But just that attitude of again, striving to be better. I think there's a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Some kids that are really talented naturally have such a fixed mindset. They don't handle failure well. They don't allow themselves to grow because their mindset is fixed about it. So I want that kid that's just hungry to fail, because that's how you learn. Only through failure can you figure out how to do it right? And so they react correctly to it. They just keep working hard. They're really hungry in that process. If you see a kid that has those things and a little bit of natural ability, now you've got something to work with. You know, a kid who, when he makes a mistake, he just wants to know, like, big eyes, coach me, coach, help me do it better, help me do it right. Versus the kid that hangs his head or just acts like, you know, I know, right? That's so important, and it's hard. It doesn't come natural. And so those are just some of the key things that I think make a person, whether it's an athlete or anybody, a chance to be successful.
So be coachable is what I got out of
Yeah, I think so, man. And be hungry to learn and grow and be okay with failing.
Right.
You know, we struggle with failing these days in our culture because we're just so afraid of it for a lot of reasons, right? But man, that's how you learn.
For the sake of the internet, it seems like, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I got to do it right on the first try because I just tried it first ever, and I got to be the best at it. Like,
well, but you're right too. That the whole social media thing, right? Our failures now are so much more public.
yeah,
I mean, everybody sees them.
can hardly fail in private anymore. You know,
Exactly. And so people just get so afraid to take chances, take risks, and fail and learn. And so, yeah, that's a big part of it. Yeah. Hey, good questions, by the way, man. Way to go.
Thank you.
Awesome.
How do you keep your players motivated throughout the season? Say, like, if you're having I mean, let's go with, you said that the 2014 and maybe the 2017 would be like the two that we could talk about, right? Like, because how did you get those guys from all that stuff at, I don't know when it happened, the beginning of the season or whatever, to winning the chip in 2014,
Right.
or keeping them motivated to in 2017 where you almost got there?
Yeah, 2016 was actually that
16?
class. Yeah,
Okay.
16. You know what? Man, way to go. I think love is the ultimate motivation. And here's what I mean. Like, first of all, at some point, think about a little kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every little kid, when they first, kindergarten, first grade, man, when you ask a question, they still have that love and that joy. But at some point, sadly, whether it's family stuff, our culture, like whatever, somebody steals that joy, that love for school. And pretty soon the whole thing changes. By the time they get to me as freshmen and sophomores, right, that you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I was one of them, dude, because I've been to so many different schools at that time. Like, I did, and I didn't believe my mom when she said, we'll be at this house until you graduate high school, right? So I was like,
right.
All right.
And so when you love what you do.
Before that, I was on the move like every 18 months or so.
Yeah. So there's your motivation, right? When you love what you do. Like, think about you. You love what you're doing. I mean,
the weekly bus, man. This is it right here.
Yeah, and so talk about motivated. I mean, look at this studio. You guys are crushing it, man.
Thank you.
Because you love it. So love is the ultimate motivation. Okay, now let's take it to football, right? Just because I'm a football coach. At some point, every little kid loved football. Loved it. They just would go play it all day long, all the time, like whatever it looked like, right?
Football with your friends, whatever.
But again, at some point, something or someone or whatever, a lot of times it's a bad coach or a bad drill or whatever, but something steals that love, and all of a sudden it becomes, And so I try to just keep the love for the sport there, love from their teammates. We really try to build a strong brotherhood, have just a ton of loving each other, because that makes it special. Try to restore the joy. We call it in our program elite joy, right? Play with elite joy. Because again, if you love what you do. So yeah, I just feel like if you love what you do, that's the ultimate motivation.
Okay.
I'm getting a call from my mom, and she would not have the technology to
Oh, I was like, if you need to, man, you can. I was like, I can hold it down if you needed to.
No, she's like 84 and can barely turn on her computer. I love you, Mom. Man, she's not watching. She's not going to be able to join
But
this.
she might be able to watch it, right?
She's probably just calling. She might see that little clip.
All right, I'm going to roll into the next one. Can you describe a time when you faced significant challenge as a coach and how you overcame it?
Yeah, and I think, first of all, I think those first 2 years, because again, I was leaving Brock Osweiler. That was a huge risk, right? I go to Glacier with sophomores. We go 0-10. We get beat by 70 every night. Next year we're 2-8. I mean, who knows? I might have gotten fired my third year, and whoops, bad risk. I'm out.
Right.
So I mean, that was tough. Just having a blueprint, believing in it, and going for it. And kudos to those kids like Connor Fuller and Wiley Facero and Chase Smith Buchanan, the Criners, and I mean, there's a lot of them, but I mean, they did it, man. They believed in me and in the vision and in us, and they got it going. The story that I want to tell, though, is, I mean, I look at myself as like the most blessed man in the world, man. My life has been great. I mean, really. Great family, great parents. Most of my life has been just, right?
Yeah.
Had a wife, high school sweetheart, 35 years together, and out of the blue, not one person in our whole family had a clue. But man, one night, she told me, I'm having an affair, I'm leaving you. This was like 6 years ago. I mean, whoa. Now, the reason I'm telling this story is because I was the, as you know, I was the like every day's a great day guy. I'm the positive energy guy. I'm the passionate guy. I'm the teaching boys how to be young men, how to be good husbands, how to be good fathers. That's never changed. Like that's been our whole.
Yeah, you've always been.
Yeah, I've been that guy, right? Just helping boys become those things. And all of a sudden, I'm not that, and I was crushed. And I think, I mean, obviously the hurt and the betrayal and all of that's hard. But I think what crushed me the most was feeling like now a fraud or a failure. Like guys like you would look at me and say, oh, all that stuff he's been saying all these years, yeah, he was a phone. You know what I mean? That just, I mean, I had a dark time for a couple of weeks there where I was in trouble. Just because I didn't think I could go face my players, my student. I was done. So, man, it was a struggle. But eventually I got the courage to come back to practice. And I had this speech planned out. I stood in front of them and I was just going to, kind of tell them what happened real quick and then say, guys, I just need you. I couldn't even say much and I'm just crying, but they knew by then what happened. And man, those guys, that team, never forget them. That team, especially, they lined up one by one, just hugged on me, loved me, said they had my back, said they believed in who I was, said they did not question my character and all that stuff. And it just restored me. And it told me everything that we're doing is like legit, my whole thing. It didn't wreck me. It was actually, and now, honestly, I think it made me more real for kids. I think maybe for all those years, I was kind of that guy that you said like, oh yeah, he's, Coach B, maybe unrelatable, right?
Right.
And then it was like, you know what? He's just a real dude that has life struggles too, right?
Right. I mean, when you bring your home life onto the field and just let them know what it is, that is commendable, dude.
So it was amazing. And then what's happened since, I think players feel like I'm more approachable now. Like, hey, he gets it. He's been through it. Hey, coach, can you help me with this? It's been amazing. And then, of course, God has given me the greatest gift of my life. I was destroyed. And I thought I'm going to get a small apartment. All I need is my mountain bike. I'm just going to hunker down and just be single for the rest of my life. Wow. And then, man, I met Caroline, my current wife, 6 years ago. And she is amazing. I mean, nobody wants to go through hard things, right? Yeah. But that's what we teach in football is that, hey, pick yourself up and everything happens for a reason. And so I believe that now. And God's given me Caroline. She's an amazing human being, right? Is the greatest gift ever. Besides him, she's the greatest gift ever that I've ever received.
There you go,
so, hated going through it, but now I'm so thankful, right?
But now you feel better for it almost.
Yeah. And so it's kind of that failure piece too. It's like, hey, we go through hard times, but there can always be, good that can come out of it. If we just keep believing, keep hoping, keep faith, all that
Absolutely.
stuff. Yeah. And your questions are amazing. I've never been interviewed like this. Like, I get interviewed a lot, and this guy right here, man, good stuff.
Thank you. Just like you said, the love and the passion for it,
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell people, you mentioned it, and I said I wanted to talk about it. We mentioned your hobbies. Do you only have one hobby that you like to do outside of football?
Well, I really love just anything outdoors. I was actually raised in the wilderness. My dad was a Forest Service guy.
Oh, okay.
So I was kind of born at Big Prairie Ranger Station, which is right in the middle of Bob Marshall Wilderness. In my first 5 years of life, we'd go from Condon to Big Prairie. And then he moved to Spotted Bear Ranger Station at the end of the South Fork Reservoir, or the South Fork River, the Hungry Horse Reservoir.
Yeah.
And so I was raised in the wilderness. So I just love backpacking and hiking and being out in creation and just, it's awesome, right? And so, man, I started mountain biking quite a while ago now. but it's a way to do what I love to do and get out, but even cover more territory in a shorter time and just see the mountains and be up on the ridges. And so I love it. I just became a furious mountain biker. What keeps me in shape, and great way to, spend off energy and, stay young and also get a little adrenaline rush going downhill. So it's good.
Right. I was gonna say that's one of my favorite things was to do when I lived in Kalispell, because I lived right at in between. I lived on Farm to Market Road, but I would live in the edge of Kalispell and I'd have to go to school in Whitefish technically. Okay. So because I'm way out there by Redneck, where the pig farm is.
Yeah, the pig farm.
Yeah. Okay, so right there, I was right in that area.
Yeah,
and
love mountain biking out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that trail, I'd always just go out or like when it was winter, I'd just strap on my snowshoes. I'd still go find a new lake, because like Bowser Lake and all those lakes are back there and stuff. Cool. So I'd just go check them out, which was pretty sweet. I like that trail though. Exactly, get that little adrenaline rush going down the hill. Yeah. Running over a route thinking you're about to go down. It's great. It's a good time.
And honestly, now my other hobby is I like being with my wife, man. I really do. I just doesn't matter, man. Just talking. I think it's mostly because your kids are grown mostly. Yeah, right? My kids are out of the house or hers, and so we just love being together. It doesn't matter what it is. We can talk about anything and everything and spend time together doing whatever it is, and we just love it. So,
are you strictly a girl dad?
Yes, 3 girls.
That's what I thought. Yep. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, 3 daughters. They're getting older now already. It's crazy. I have 4 grandkids.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm a girl dad myself, but I only got one. She's 9. Yeah. Turns 10 in October. So
girls are awesome, man.
Hell yeah, they are. All right. So how do you incorporate the latest training techniques and strategies into coaching?
Yeah, man, another great question. I'm really blessed. I've always taught business, and I've always had somebody key on my staff, my coaching staff. I don't mean, remember Coach Deck? Yeah. Right, Aaron Deck. I've always had. He retired a couple years ago.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Okay. Retired. But I've always had somebody in the weight room that teaches PE and does our weight rate that's been able to not only handle it, but for me as a head football coach, but just do a great job with it. And so as things update, it's hard to stay with, but Coach Deck was always so good at it. Just my right-hand man for so long. Now, Connor Fuller, and I got to tell you a story, man. We're on the podcast. I got to say this. So
absolutely. Whatever you got to say.
Connor Fuller. Do you remember Connor at all? Do you remember? He was obviously a few years ahead of you.
I can't put a face to the name. I know I've heard the name more than
so Connor. Here's the cool thing, you guys, man, about coaching, right? So Connor grows up across the street. He's a little kid across the street. We were neighbors, right? A little kid. Eventually he becomes an athlete for me. He plays for me. He's one of the key guys that built Glacier, right? Mm-hmm. Those first 2 years of pain and then that senior year. Well, then he goes off to college, has a great, college career playing for Western, and ends up coming back to coach for me. And so he's been a coach on our staff for several years now. Unbelievable, right? Well, then he gets the head track job. Yeah, there he is right there. Awesome. So he gets the head track job and then hires me to coach for him. So now it's come full circle, right? Where here's a little kid across the street, becomes an athlete, becomes a colleague, a coach for me, and now I'm coaching for him. And just to see that whole thing, man, that's just incredible.
No, now that's crazy how that life spirals.
Exactly. I'm just so proud of him to watch. Just like for me, knowing that hopefully the ways I mentored him and helped him along in his journey, and now to just sit back and watch him be a head coach and lead his program, man, every day I'm just busting with pride, right? And it's cool, man. Those things are hard to describe.
Yeah. No, right. Knowing that you helped get him where he's at, right?
Yeah.
In a way. Obviously outside of college, but what was I going to say? I forgot. On to the next one, I guess. Where am I at? Oh, what role do parents and the community play in success of your program?
Yeah. Wow. Another great one, buddy. I'm maybe a little different. I think some coaches are resistant a little bit to parents because it's hard, right?
Mostly, yeah.
But they're their sons, right? They love them. And so I tell our parents on day one that welcome to our program. It's our program. It's not mine. It's not Glacier's. It's our program. And what I say on day one is, it is a huge privilege and honor for me to partner with you as parents to help your sons on this journey from boys to men. And so we're going to work together. So I invite the parents in. I want them involved. I want them to feel part of the family. I want them to feel ownership and investment. And so we just have a ton of ways for parents to be involved because, again, they're their sons and they love them.
Yep.
Now, obviously, if you have to have that dividing line between, we're the coaches, but our parents, I think our parents understand that, and I think they appreciate that I allow them in and just to be a part of it and my perspective on it, that we are partnering together to help their boys become good men. I mean, I think because they appreciate that, it goes really well.
Right. So, and you can tell if the parents have the drive of, I guess, a winning culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and I think, I feel like our parents understand that we are going to have a consistently competitive program because of how we do things. But most of all, no matter what, win or lose, they know their sons are going to be loved, taken care of well, and they're going to be in a program that's going to teach them really valuable skills and tools for their lives. And so, I know there's a lot of Friday nights where parents are upset and probably want to come, punch me in the nose. But I think when they sit back, hopefully they can say, hey, we know that they're in a good program.
This is Lex Hilliard. Sorry. Any Lex Hilliard stories?
Oh yeah, Lex, man, awesome. Man, Lex is obviously one of the all-time greats in Montana history, right? And obviously a Flathead Brave history. Fun coach. What a career. He burst on the scene. We were driving down to play Billings West. He was a sophomore. We had a starting running back on the back of the bus. The kid gets sick. And so Lex got his first chance just because the starting running back got kind of the flu, got a stomach bug. So it was like, okay, young soph, here you go. Well, the rest is history, right? He just tore it up. And
yeah,
what's funny about Lex is as a sophomore, we had such a good team. I didn't have to use him much. He only touched the ball maybe 10 or 12 times, which was like, geez, Coach B, you got to give him the ball more. Well, then his junior year, our team was different. And so, then I gave him the ball probably too much. He had 42 touches a game just because, wow. But so, yeah, but he was, awesome to coach. Great to be a part of his story as well. Another NFL guy from the town of Kalispell, which is pretty cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
And let's talk about having that clean slate. Like, how many other programs have ever done that? Like the last, because when a new high school gets built, I feel like it almost makes national news. You know what I mean? Because so many more high schools are getting taken down rather than built, right?
Right.
So, like, I guess the newest one that I know of is Gallatin.
Gallatin, yeah.
So, and what made you accept that? Like, what was the thought process when that job offer came up?
Yeah. It was twofold. A lot of people that were upset with me said that I went and took all the coaches from the Flathead High program. But the honest truth was most of the guys who ended up being my assistants wanted to go to Glacier to do just what you're saying and build brand new programs. So like Aaron Deck wanted to go up there and be the head track coach, and Joel Bemis wanted to go be the girls softball coach, and Mark Harkins wanted to go be the basketball coach. All my coaches wanted to go take these opportunities. And as they told me that, as we were talking about it, they're like, Coach, I want to go start a new program. I want to go start That's when last hour I thought, you know what? That doesn't happen very often. Where you're going to go start your own culture, your own tradition, just build something from the ground up.
A legit clean slate.
Exactly. And I jumped at it as well. So the two things, right? That opportunity, but also most of my assistants were going up there. And I knew how hard it was going to be to get assistant football coaches when you start a brand new program. So there they all go, man. I'm going to go with them, right? So I was kind of smart as well as taking that opportunity.
Okay. And crosstown games. How many did you win? How many did you lose? Like let's say first 10 years. Do you think was it pretty even, or did you guys end up taking over?
They got us the first two, obviously, but
yeah.
Since then we've dominated the series.
And that's what I thought.
Yeah, they came back. Kyle Sampson came in and really did a good job getting that program on the right track, and they got us a couple times in 17 and 18. So I think the overall right now is we're 14 to their 4. But crosstown is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I grew up.
I love those games.
Yeah, I grew up. We didn't have a crosstown, and I'd always watch. Like we put the Helena High game on, or we put, the Missouri is on. Those crosstown games are special, man. They are just amazing. The atmosphere, the energy, the whole town comes out. And I would always watch jealous, like, man, we don't have that. And so now to have that crosstown, whatever the sport is, it's really cool for the kids. It's just fun to be a part of an athletic competition like that. So I'm glad that our kids get to experience crosstown now in Kalispell.
Right, because the closest before Glacier, the 2 schools, 3, Whitefish, Columbia Falls, and Big Fork, they're not in that same division. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, there was nothing like that in Flathead Valley. So it's the only problem I have is that when it is crosstown, man, you got to park at basically Flathead just to get to the stadium. You know what I mean? It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting dropped off, right? Luckily for me, what is this? Oh, there you go. That's you. That's my boy. Where are we at? Oh. So how do you ensure your athletes are maintaining their academic responsibilities? I mean, obviously, you've been long enough,
we work really hard at it. I mean, I know that's why they're there. I mean, obviously, a couple of them are going to get a chance maybe to play college football, but that's not why we're there. We're there to help them excel in the classroom, to get their education, to do a great job. And so I'm very intentional about it. We have a study table all year long. Any kid who gets below a C, we want them ABCs. If they get D's or F's, they have to go to study table. There's penalties for being on study table. If they don't show up at study table, they miss playing time. I mean, we really work hard at it. And it requires, getting up an hour earlier on those study table mornings and being there to help those kids, get tutors or make up tests or finish homework.
Like, you have to get up an hour earlier, or they do?
Well, they do and I do. Right?
Oh, okay, because you got to be there, right?
Study table. So it'd be really easy to just not do that. But it's
and
just
show up and get your work done,
right. But
Whereas,
it's just so important to say, hey guys, this matters. Academics are number one. That's your priority, and so we're going to hold you accountable. And if if you have D's and F's, you're going to be at study table. Or else you're not.
When you could have been in lifting weights for an hour in the morning, right?
Right.
So,
exactly.
Right. So I guess you're going to win some, lose some there. So do you guys don't do like scouting, right? Or do you? How does that work?
Yeah, we have a program called Huddle now, which is everything is now online, all of our video. And so we can watch any game. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. And it's actually a pretty cool story because, Great Falls, so Jack Johnson, the legend, and I know Ty gave me a huge shout out, but, come on, Jack Johnson is the greatest ever in the state of Montana. I'm not even mentioning the same breath as that guy. But so when I first became a head coach, I'm the young guy in the room, and Jack Johnson, the legend, we were still exchanging VHS tape on bus.
Oh, yeah.
What a pain. And I was like, there has to be a better way. And so Jack kind of said, all right, man, you're the IT guy. Go figure it out. So I started calling and researching digital companies that could exchange our film. We could somehow upload them to the internet and exchange that way. And so it's kind of cool. Like, I feel really old, but I was the one that started looking at that. We found a company to do it for the first couple of years. It was real sketchy. And then we got another company, and now we're with this program called Huddle, and then just easy. Everything uploads. It's a pretty incredible program. They've done a good job with it.
I was saying, because I've seen these like these little boxes with cameras on them, and then you can have, and they advertise it for soccer, but they say you can use it for all sports, but you can have all that tape, and it's like a I don't know if it's like it's not 3D, I guess that's the wrong word, but it's like 360, I guess, maybe. And you can have like highlight tapes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's called Field Track.
There's some cool stuff.
I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But as like, maybe you can implement that because it already does like highlights, players, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just something that I've seen. How do you address and prevent burnout among your athletes? Have you seen that at all? Has that been a problem with any, like?
Yeah, I think I would just go back to my previous answer where you talked about motivation.
Yeah.
Right. Burnout to me, just kind of the love. Somehow the love has been stolen. Right.
Okay.
And so again, if love is the ultimate motivation, how can we keep them loving the game, loving the program, loving their development? Right. And I get it, man. A lot of kids are like, man, I just can't. And there's some legitimate reasons, but a lot of times kids give it up. I think when kids decide to quit, I try to tell them, for whatever reason you're quitting, I think you're going to regret it. And I hear from so many young men down the road, it seems like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever a year, that I'll bump into and say, Coach, man, you were right. I'm so bummed I quit playing high school football, you know? And I don't know. I mean, yeah, exactly. Because you only have, right, 2 or 3 years of your life to do that. And then the rest of your life, you got responsibilities. You got to get up and go to work every day. You got to provide for your family. I mean, that's
right. Then it's 10 years later and you're playing a turkey bowl game and you're sore the next morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a pretty good game last Thanksgiving. That was a good time.
Awesome.
It's colder than hell, though.
Yeah.
Snowy, fucking freezing cold. We were out there, though. Got her done. Bunch of 30-year-old men just still getting it down. Good time. Okay, so what are some of the key differences in coaching today compared to when you first started? Like maybe the advancements in technology, you know.
That's an obvious one. Common question, because everybody wants to know, are kids different today than they were? And you know, the honest truth is, I mean, they are, but I don't think as much as people maybe think. I think the difference is just cultural messages they get affect them in such a different way. In a lot of ways they approach. I think it's just, but when it really comes down to it, man, kids still want the same things from athletics that they really always have. And I think that's just, we call it CBA in our program: connection, belonging, and acceptance. I mean, that's why kids play sports, right? To connect with other people, build relationships, make friendships, to belong to something special, something bigger than themselves, and to be accepted for who they are. That's why kids play.
And for those few that are like, I'm just here to let the dog out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know, and those are ones you want, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, man, I think you can capture that and just keep kids rolling. Go back to your question again.
The key differences from coaching.
Oh yeah. Key differences. That's right. So I think those things have always been the same, and they'll always remain the same. I think the difference is, I said it earlier, there's so many more options now. So the main difference is, again, back in the day, to be a third string whatever on a football team was just like, oh, it's awesome. And now, if I'm not first string, well, why would I go through all this when I can go play video games? I can go do, right? They just have so many options.
Right. I could be a Twitch streamer instead.
Exactly. Right. And so to keep kids captured on why you want to be a part of this, that's the difference, I think.
Okay. So do you think that's part of shorter attention spans? Or what do you think, like, the root cause of that?
No, I think it's just technology and just more options, right? I mean, in the old days, there was just, everybody knew that you played high school sports, that's what you did. And now there's just so many more things that kids can do, which isn't a bad thing at all. It's just, I guess we have to compete more for kids' attention, for their hearts, to be a part, especially in a sport like football. It's hard, and coaches are going to yell at them, demean them, and put them down. It's like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
When I can go do these 1,000 other things.
It definitely feels like nowadays you have to get them into Pee Wee football so they understand,
Yeah.
Because otherwise I don't feel like they're built like that nowadays.
Right.
Well, I feel like it's also like an escape. It's an easier escape. You got the phone, the video games, everything else.
Right.
You don't have to actually go out there and try.
And the respect for their parents is like way minimal nowadays now, right?
It's changed a lot.
It's crazy. Like the phone in your pocket is just wild.
Yeah.
And how do you prepare? I got two more. How do you prepare athletes for the possibility of playing at college levels?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's the entire program and what we do, just, I guess, as a whole in its entirety, helps them get ready physically, get ready mentally, become the football players that are ready. And I think we get great feedback from like the Grizz, the Cats, the Frontier schools when they get our kids. They're always so positive about, hey, coach, your kids are prepared, they're well coached. I've got a great staff. I mean, I'm to the point now where, I lead the program and run the program, but I've got great coaches that I just let coach. I trust them. They do their part, and they prepare our players really, really well. And so, when Bobby Houck or Coach Began from Montana State or whoever, when they come up and say, man, coach, we love your guys. They come in ready to go, physically, mentally. They have great skill, great technique. That's awesome. Right?
Yeah.
That means a lot. It means like, we're doing good things. So,
especially for people that don't, for coaches that only see you once, twice a year, maybe.
Right.
Because of that, what'd you say, the divisions? You only get to play one school per.
When we go, like when we play
Say like
non-conference
Sentinel or
games.
something
It's going to be
like
like
that,
once every 4 years is all.
Oh, really?
Those schools, yeah.
But like places like Great Falls, you can play Great Falls High once, and then next year you'll play CMR.
Yeah.
Is that every year though?
It depends on the rotation.
So
we'll play two.
They might not even make it in there.
Right, we'll play 2 per year for 4 years, 2 different.
And then obviously, if you have to play in the playoffs, that's how that
Yeah,
goes. But
exactly.
your regular season games
Exactly.
are different.
So like we'll play Great Falls High this year, opening game, and then we're not going to see them again for a 5-year cycle on the regular season. Yeah.
Really?
Because next year it'll be 2 more, the next year 2 more, the next year 2 more, and then we get back to Great Falls. So yeah.
Okay. Have you guys played Gallatin yet?
Yeah, we played them last year for the first time. We played them in the semifinals to go to the state championship game.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
Nice.
it was a good game. They're up and coming, great program. I think they might be ranked number 1 out of the chutes. They're really good.
Really?
Got a lot. Yep.
Oh
Got
shit.
a lot of talents. They're really
I mean,
good.
dude, with the growth of places like Kalispell and Bozeman, though, you got to expect that there's going to be
For sure.
some more high caliber kids coming in, right?
Yep.
Is there like a pivotal moment that you remember you've won it once with Glacier, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a pivotal moment in that game where you were like, all right, we got this in the bag?
Man, another fabulous question. I think even though we went undefeated in the regular season, going into that
Right, but you
first
can't get
game,
comfortable, right?
yeah, going into that first playoff game, the quarterfinal, I was so nervous because you don't want. I was like, oh my gosh, we don't want to go undefeated and then get upset in the first round, right? I was probably more nervous for that game than ever.
What city were you at, or what?
It was at home. We were at home for the state championship run. In 14, we were at home the whole time. So the quarterfinals against Billings West, man, nervous a second. And we just got after them, beat them really bad, 56-8, I think. So then the semifinals game, Big Sky comes in. They're good, man. And again, nervous, not quite as nervous, but gaining some confidence, but still pretty nervous. And I think we beat them 45-6 or something.
Damn, there we go.
Yeah. So then
Right.
that week, the answer to your question is now I'm like, you know what? It was Tuesday night after practice. We got done practicing on Tuesday night. And I walked across, I met with the team. I let them go. Hey, have a good night. See you tomorrow. And I walked across the field with Coach Deck. And I said, there's no way this team will lose. They won't lose. And the reason was because of what they went through, right? That was the bus incident. All those things, all the kids, there was a lot of people in town that were like, these kids shouldn't be playing. These kids should be, out on the street.
I remember, dude. Yeah,
Just,
man.
it was a mess,
It
right?
was like an uproar.
Oh, it was huge. And I'm trying to tell people, like, listen, they've suffered the consequences. They've been disciplined. That is what education is all about. We've all made mistakes. I've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. Everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you suffer the consequences, right? And then you teach and restore and help those kids get. That's why we're in education, or else we wouldn't even have schools. That's the point. And so those kids put a chip on their shoulder, and were like, people were wanting them to fail, cheering against them, and and on Tuesday night, I was like, they will not lose. And so that's what I knew. And my point to the story is, quarterfinals, I was so nervous, maybe the most I've ever been. Semifinals, pretty nervous. But literally, we walked out in that championship game that night, and I wasn't nervous at all because I knew that these guys would not get beat. They had each other's backs like I've never seen a team. And they just, everything they'd been through, they were like, there's no way. And sure enough, I mean, CMR made it close for a bit, but then we just opened it up.
That's who you played?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it ended up, I think the final score was like 56-18. So we just,
Damn, just trouted them again, dude.
No, man. High scores.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. All right.
That team set all sorts of records, man, with, scoring. In fact, I still set a state record for scoring margin in a state championship game, but also scoring margin just throughout the year. I think we almost averaged beating everybody by 40. I mean, it was crazy.
That whole year?
Yeah, that team was,
Dude, yeah.
Wait, what year was that?
yeah, it was 2014.
14.
Yeah.
For, I mean, for those seniors that obviously the whole bus thing and then just to win the chipper,
Yep.
that's
Well, in
a
fact,
crazy year right there, right?
Hey, I don't know if any of the guys would ever watch this podcast or if they are watching or whatever, but
Very well
we
could be.
are doing a 2014 state championship reunion celebration. It's been 10 years, 10-year reunion, right?
Indeed it is, right?
And so
Yeah.
our homecoming, I'm trying to get all those guys to come back, introduce them at halftime, have a couple celebration, events just to,
Like homecoming week.
yeah. I mean, it's so September 27th. I've been trying to send some
Okay.
stuff out. Haven't got a lot of good response yet. So, hey, 2014 Wolfpack, if you're out there, man, please come back to Kalispell homecoming and celebrate what you did, because I know it's only been 10 years. And so some are like, you know what, big deal. But the longer you go, you realize how hard it is to win a state championship, man. It's special. And so, man, I want to celebrate those guys. And so, man, fill out the form, come back and be a part of our reunion.
There we go. See, and I mean, you've been back to the state chip for what?
We've been there 4 times at Glacier, and unfortunately, we're 1-3. We've gotten beat by Bozeman twice, just a really good Bozeman program. I mean, arguably, those Bozeman teams, you know, could be maybe in the top teams in Montana football history. They're just so good, both of them. Last year was a great game. You know, we fell short by a touchdown. But then the other team that beat us was, shoot. You can tell you want to put these losses in your, you don't want to remember them. So
right.
I'm not
I was like, because the wins came.
Billings Senior got us in 2016, and that was the team that, I don't know if you guys remember or heard of this, but when those kids were in Little League, that whole Billings Senior crew, they won the World Championship, the Little League World Series. They won it. It was incredible.
What?
Yeah, unbelievable. So we knew that group had so much talent, and you know, they were again arguably one of the best teams ever. We gave them a pretty good go, but they were really good. So yeah, 1-3, the record in state championship games, but we've been there 4 times. So in 16 competitive seasons when we didn't have those first 2 years of sophomores, when you think about it, we've been in a quarter of the championship games. So,
right, so you're going like every few years, right? Every 3-4 years.
Exactly.
So.
I can tell our freshmen coming in, like, listen, man, a quarter, like, you have a shot of playing in the championship game, because that's kind of how it's been, right? Every 4 years or so. So it's been, it's cool.
So those who don't know, he has a 70% win percentage. It is 120 to 50. So 70% win percentage. If anybody out there that doesn't know that, now you do. And I got a closing remarks here. What legacy do you hope to leave behind as a coach?
Man, you nailed it. What a great question. I think, I think Connor Fuller is probably the prime example of what I hope to be all about. You know, just helping a young man become who he's supposed to be. I hope when people look back and remember Coach Bennett, I just hope they remember that I loved kids, and I was very passionate about helping them become the best version of themselves. You know, and just really, I think, become who God made them to be. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? He's given each of us potential, and our goal should be to try to just maximize it and become the very best version of ourselves that He made us to be. And that's what I was all about. That was my mission, my calling. So, changing lives, man.
And I feel like you're going to continue to do it until you decide to retire, you know?
Yeah. Thanks, Levi.
Absolutely. With that, I'm going to close her out and drop, if you have any shout outs or anyone you want to say thank you to, or.
Well, I think I already shouted out my wife, my wonderful wife, Caroline, man. I love you so much. What a gift. And then my 3 daughters, Regan, Brianna, and Haley. I love you guys, my grandkids. But all the players that have played for me, man, I love you guys, because you're the ones that make it happen. My coaches, I can keep shouting out forever. But, I'm just excited to get going again, man. Like I said, I'm more passionate.
Almost that time, right?
Yeah, it is. 2 weeks away. Well, actually, a week away from coaches' meetings, and then the kids will come in next Thursday. So, but
like camp, right?
To report for camp, yeah. So
2-day camp.
Yep, here we go.
Start of the year, baby.
Can't wait.
Well, do you talk to your assistants every day, or how does that work in the summertime?
I mean, I'll see them usually 3 or 4 days a week during summer workouts and stuff, and we do other things with them. But yeah, once we meet, we'll meet on Sunday.
Definitely weekly though.
And then it'll be here we go. Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
for sure.
All right, I'm gonna drop some sponsors and we'll get out of here.
All right.
And Grady, thank you for coming in, man.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. It was an honor.
Absolutely. Oh, please.
Elevate your vaping and smoking experience with 20 Past 4, Montana's premier vape, water pipe, and accessory shop. Discover a world of possibilities at 5 convenient locations, 2 in Great Falls, 1 in Helena, 1 in Billings, and for our friends in Arizona, we've got you covered with a location in sunny Prescott. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are ready to guide you through the latest trends, ensuring you to find the fit for your lifestyle. Plus, don't miss out on exciting promotions and discounts, making your shopping experience even better. 20 past 4, where quality meets satisfaction. Visit us today at one of our 5 convenient locations. Halftime Sports Bar, the best sports bar in town. Catch all of the action on our big screens, enjoy your favorite drinks, and savory mouth-watering tacos provided by Taco Treat. Feeling lucky? Head over to our casino with hot machines at Emerald City Casino, where the thrill never stops. And for a more laid-back vibe, check out Amigo Lounge, our sister establishment, offering a perfect blend of relaxation and fun, and food. Halftime Sports Bar, where sports, gaming, and great times come together. Your go-to destination for excitement in every quarter. Join us today and make every moment a winning one.
August or October will be a year with the halftime, yeah. And I want to shout out Bucked Up, the #1 supplement and energy drink company in the region, baby. Soon to be the world. Bucked Up Energy. Get yourself some with 20% off with code WEEKLY. I said weekly, 20% off. And if you want to buy a house here in Great Falls, Montana, or all over the state, you know who to hit up. The boys and girls and at Dustin Young Premier Team. Premier Team, we love you guys. Shout out. And if you ever need anything junk removal, say if you're moving out of your house, call our man, Kyle Hudson of Hudson Trash Removal. Want lunch? Go to the Amigo. And if you want to gamble, go to the Emerald City. With that, I'm going to get out of here. We appreciate, Native Grown, the #1 3-time winners of the year. Native Grown Dispensary. New one in Charlo. Thank you. Have a good night. We are the Weekly Buzz. Oh, yeah. Dope.